Well, for the bottom of the fourth, we are joined by a very special guest here in the booth, and it is former Yankees manager Joe Torre, now Executive Vice President, Baseball Operations for Major League Baseball. First of all, let me shake your good
Left hand.
What happened to your right arm there?
70 years old, and I, rotator cuff and biceps tendon and all that stuff. Just take care of it. Just so I can hang clothes now. That's all it is.
Did your batting title maybe start you on the road to the surgery?
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, one thing we want to visit with you about is the Home Run Challenge. Tell us what that's about and what the goal is.
Well, the goal is to raise money for prostate cancer research. I mean, Michael Milken has done it. I know when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in the spring of what was it, '99, I hadn't met Mike Milken. He called me and sort of cleared up the fog in my head at that time, because you certainly, when you hear that word cancer, it scares you. And over the years, you realize that prostate cancer is something that we can do something about.
3 straight strikeouts now for C.J. Wilson as he gets Posada to begin the fourth.
For the men that are watching, Joe, what age should you argue when you should be concerned about that?
Well, I think if it's in your family, and of course, my dad, who knows what he had back in those days. You never really checked that. My son knows now that I had prostate cancer, so he started getting checked at like 35, 40 years old, just so you have a baseline. Because when you have your PSA check, which is just through a blood test, it's really the change in the PSA as opposed to the number initially. So,
and isn't it true that the longer a man lives, it's almost inevitable that he will get prostate cancer at some point, right?
Well, those numbers are going down, David, thank goodness, and a lot of it is because of this money that we're raising through this Home Run Challenge and other monies that Michael has raised through his prostate cancer foundation. But yes, at some point, if you live long enough, you're going to get it if you're a male. And the biggest issue for me, and of course, my wife had said to me when we got diagnosed in '99, if we had retired last year, nobody would know about this. And I said, yeah, you're right. But as it turned out, it was probably the best thing, because all of a sudden some people would come up to me and whisper in my ear that they had this, or someone they knew had it. And just basically to start talking about it is the best thing. It's the healthiest thing, because once it affects it's something that affects a man's libido. So they're really a little sensitive about, getting checked and even trying to even wanting to find out if they have something.
Well, didn't you find once that people knew about it, it's pretty remarkable how many other people have had it and how much reassurance they can give to you once they find out that you've got it?
I tell you, Tommy, I can't tell you, when I knew I had it, and I think when they took my blood pressure, it was about 190 over 100. And then once the doctor started talking to me and said, I'll have you back at work in 3 weeks, my blood pressure, I could just feel it, going down.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue with cancer is the lack of understanding. And once you have information, you realize it's not a death sentence.